Welcome to Silicon Valley Nonprofits, a service of KMVT Community Media. I'm Bev Lenahan, your host. Today our guest is Kim Venaas, founder and musical director of California Pops Orchestra. Thank you so much for being with us, Kim.
My pleasure, and on behalf of the 75 musicians in the California Pops, thanks for having us.
Oh, you're most welcome. So you have a fun way of explaining the California Pops. I love it. So explain it to our viewing audience.
Sure. Actually, it wasn't my idea. It came from one of our audience members, and they said, it seems like you're a combination of the Boston Pops and Prairie Home Companion.
I love it.
And so it's very true, because I'm half MC and half conductor. We talk with the audience back and forth. I'll tap dance, I'll tell jokes, whatever's necessary to do the show.
Oh, well, that's wonderful. And I can tell already you've got that sense of humor that makes it a lot of fun. I can't wait to go. So tell me how your program works, that it helps musicians and helps to keep music alive. What are you doing in that way?
Sure. Well, so first off, we're the country's only all-request symphony orchestra.
Oh,
nobody else does this.
Mm-hmm.
And so the audience will tell us what they like to hear. There was a chance I had to talk with some of the San Francisco Symphony board members, and they said, how do you connect with your audience so well? And I said, well, I asked them what they want to hear. Would you do that? And he says, well, no, we lead public taste. We don't follow public taste. I thought, well, okay, there's a big difference. And so as a result, everything that, every request we get, with very, very few exceptions, like yakety sax or something, I'll do my darndest to get it in one of the upcoming shows. And our 6-show season includes shows centered around big band and movie music, the Great American Songbook, Broadway, all these sorts of things. So regardless of what they ask for, I can find a slot to put it in there. And it really keeps us on our toes to have to find this new music.
You must have very versatile musicians.
Well, they all come to us initially from classical orchestras. And most of them come because, number one, they love the kind of music we do. But also because they're a little tired of playing, the same things since they were in junior high and so on. And as a result, we have a bucket of fun. The rehearsals are very lively and probably a bit more democratic than most traditional classical orchestras.
So that makes it fun too. So they really feel like they're a part of it.
Well, yeah, and so
sure.
does the audience, because not only do they get their requests fulfilled, and again, I'll announce the request from the stage, and this is for Bev, who requested all of me.
Do they do that ahead of time?
No, I do it from the stage right then.
My goodness.
Well, rather, I missed your question there. The requests typically will come in at a show, either before or at intermission, as I'm walking around among the audience. And then, because I have to go and get the arrangements, this isn't like a combo at a bar somewhere where you can say, play Misty for me.
Well, I was thinking it was.
Well, and as an example, let me show you what it takes to do one piece of music.
Yes.
Here, let me grab that. And it's this sort of stuff. Because there's 75 musicians, you have to come up with this kind of stuff.
Oh, my.
And so
for each number.
Yeah, for each number. And we've done, typically in one show, we'll do between 25 and 35 tunes.
Amazing.
And so that's quite a stack of paper.
I guess so.
But,
so do you go retrieve this from a library or something?
Actually, yeah. So we'll buy it, we'll rent it. Sometimes we have to commission it to be arranged for us because it doesn't exist anywhere. But also, we're able to go and rescue music that is in a collection that's at risk of being destroyed.
And I understand you're working on that really diligently. Tell us more about that project to preserve music.
Yeah, it's called the Save the Music Fund, and it came about when we got a call on a Friday, and it was from a symphony orchestra down south, and their conductor had passed away. He had a large collection of pops music, but they had no clue as to what to do with it.
Goodness.
But they knew about us, and they said, would you be interested?
Called.
Yeah. And so as luck would have it, 2 days later on a Sunday, we had a pops show. And I asked the audience, look, this is an opportunity that has come up. We think it'll run about $8,000 to go down and get all this stuff and get a space for it and preserve it, and more importantly to fix it up so it's playable again and play it for you. If you're interested, just let us know. And by the next Monday on noon, we had over $18,000 pledged. And so we immediately got into 3 vans, drove to Los Angeles, spent the next 3 days going through all this stuff, and we came back, and that was the start of the collection, which now amasses about 15,000 arrangements.
My goodness.
And we play at least some of those in every single show so the audience sees where their money goes.
So that has to be temperature controlled, I'm sure. All of the things to preserve the paper and whatever condition it was in.
Well, and a lot of that, you have to then do a lot of repairs to it as well, because I brought an example of one of these pieces. So this is just one sheet of this kind of music.
I see. The dog had,
it's all eaten and that sort of thing. But the funny thing, this is a first clarinet part for the Old Mill Stream. Da-da-da-da-da-da. And this was used in a pit orchestra at a music hall, we think. And so the singers are up on stage and the orchestra is down in the pit. And clearly the first clarinet player saw something, and he needed to communicate it up on stage really quick. So he wrote in big letters on the back of his part, "Your fly is open." And so it's these sorts of things that we see.
Oh dear.
It's part musical archaeology.
Yes.
But it's just delightful to see all this stuff.
The whimsical part of our past. Yeah. Well, how fun is that?
Yeah, very much so.
I understand you've recently moved your operations to the Flint Center in Cupertino, and I live in Cupertino, so I'm really anxious to hear about how that's working for you.
Well, we had our first show. We had the season premiere just a couple of weeks ago, a week and a half ago. And it was wonderful. I mean, the sound is fantastic.
Yes.
The sight lines are great. We used to be up at Foothill, and we were able to find a place that has no hills, no stairs, has air conditioning, which was important 2 Sundays ago, and that sort of thing. And most importantly, for some of our big band and Christmas shows and so on, those always sell out, and we turn away hundreds of people. This is 2.5 times larger.
Oh, so a lot more capacity.
A lot more. We have room to grow.
That's what you want, isn't it?
Yep.
I really think there's a yearning on people's part to connect the past with this crazy present that we're in, and music is always a wonderful way to do that.
Yeah, and it's a unique American heritage. When you think of Broadway and big band and movie music and this sort of thing, you're not going to find that somewhere else, and we're the only Pops Orchestra on the West Coast that does this.
That's wonderful. So I also know that Flint Center is really close to Highway 280, Highway 85.
Yep.
So access is really, really good too.
It's right there at the corner, and since we do these on Sunday afternoons, you don't have commute traffic to deal with or anything else.
So that helps too.
Oh yeah.
I know, but I can walk over, and I will. So tell me a little bit more about what it means to have more audience capacity at Flint. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, well, last year we had half of our shows sold out, and as a result, it hurts an entertainer like me, because again, this orchestra is not, of course, not classical. We're an entertainment orchestra, and the reason we're there is for the audience. And when we have to turn away people, that's just a shame.
Yes, I agree.
And so when we take the 1,000 people that sell out up at Foothill and you put them in Flint, suddenly you have all this room. And so I told the audience, your job now, fill the rest of the house. Tell your friends. Tell your friends, tell your family. And
so we do want to tell people how to get a hold of you, how to become a part of the audience, become a part of this wonderful movement that you're perpetuating.
Well, absolutely. So
get your conductor's stick out.
Oh well, yeah. So some people say, they say, what kind of instrument do you play? And I say, well, I play this. This is the key to the orchestra. This is, you put this in the slot and you turn it. Actually, I have a variety of these. This is for the very loud music. This is for the very soft music.
Tell me about that.
Very soft music.
Oh, I see, the toothpick.
Yes.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah,
anyway.
You do have fun. So how can people get a hold of you? How do they buy tickets?
Yeah, so we have, our website is www.calpops.org, nonprofit, by design, not by mismanagement. And then they can get their tickets either through the Flint box office.
Good.
Wonderful people down there in person, or through Ticketmaster.
Good.
And that's either on their website, ticketmaster.com, or on their toll-free phone number and that sort of thing. And you can get that on our website. What
would be the typical cost of a ticket to attend?
It typically runs for an adult or seniors about between $40 and $45. And it is, by all accounts, money well spent. And
sure. And invested, I'm sure.
Yep.
Yes. Well, you're giving musicians and the viewing public a wonderful experience. Thank you so much for being with us today. We
My
really
pleasure.
wish you good fortune and great music.
Thank you so much, Bev.
Thank you.
Right.